So Nigel here with Fran from Rolling Blackouts Coastal Fever. How are you feeling about playing soon tonight?
Pretty good, yeah. We just got off the plane yesterday, I think.
Brilliant.
And I think we're ready.
Yes. It's a good lineup as well. You've got Drenge and the Orioles as well. Are you familiar with those two bands?
We've played with the Orioles once before. Not familiar with Drenge, but saw them sound checking and it sounds huge.
It does sound good.
But yeah, looking forward to seeing the Orioles again.
Yeah. Drenge are really nice actually. They put you in their top 3 to see it soon when I spoke to them on the phone before the festival. So there you go.
That's nice.
Already friends. How nice is that?
That's right. It's good.
And you guys are obviously from Melbourne, which is a breeding ground for some great music. Like you've got King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard coming through there. So is it a great kind of like music scene to be part of?
It is, yeah. It's really good. There's just so many good pubs, bars, venues that have bands on like every night of the week. We've got some really good community radio stations.
Brilliant.
Which is sort of the lifeblood of the music community, really. So, you can record something and put it in someone's pigeonhole at the community radio station. They'll play it. People are listening in their cars, in their kitchens, and they know about your band pretty quickly. So, and they know you've got a show on at whatever pub on the Friday night.
That's brilliant.
And so you can very quickly get a bunch of people coming to your show.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really healthy scene, and everybody sort of looks out for each other and supports each other. It's really good.
I have read some really good things that Melbourne is a kind of a great place to go and see live music. So are there any bands coming through at the moment that you've really enjoyed and like looking at the moment? Yeah,
for sure. There's this really good band, Crepes, who we've played with a lot. They're just putting a new album out shortly. Good friends of ours, Loose Tooth, they put their album out a few months ago. They were over here as well with Courtney Barnett supporting her. They're on Milk Records.
Yeah.
There's all these different labels with all sorts of great bands playing under them. Milk Records, that's a whole pocket unto itself. Bedroom Suck Records has got all these great bands under them, including Totally Mild, Good Morning. There's just a huge list of bands. You need 3 hours really to go through it.
Yeah. Want you to keep going, right? It's good.
Yeah. I could.
Yeah, we could go on. But you've been compared to the Go-Betweens and bands like that. So were those bands you had on the household, or were there any bands in particular that you grew up listening to?
The Go-Betweens I only discovered when I was at uni, and the Triffids and a lot of the bands that have been sort of our, I suppose, most immediate influences. But bands on in the car when I was a kid was Paul Cully, who's a really well-renowned Australian singer-songwriter. He's sort of compared to our Neil Young, I guess.
Yeah.
Neil Young was on in the car a lot after the Gold Rush album, which I always thought I didn't like, but it got under my skin, and now it's like one of my favourite albums. What else? Dire Straits. Some bands I haven't really returned to, but plenty of good ones.
Yeah, they were existing in the life, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Which is good. And Hope Downs, what an album, is fantastic. The tracks flow so seamlessly into one another. It's so wonderful. And I did read that you recorded that live with Liam Judson. So how was that kind of recording process go down? Because I think that's what makes it so raw and so wonderful, is the fact that you did record it live.
Yeah. That's how we'd done our 2 EPs before. We had just recorded the EPs live in our rehearsal room, and at one point we did 2 tracks. Excuse me. Yeah, right.
It's all that cheese. They've got a lot of cheese in here.
There's a lot of cheese in here. Jet lag and everything. We recorded 2 songs in a studio, and it just didn't feel right for us. We did the whole thing where you would do drums, then you would do bass, and we realised that isn't really our band. And we don't really work on a metronome. We just sort of, the rhythms that we have sort of need to tumble over each other and stumble forwards. So it's best if we just record it all at once, which can be a really quick way to do it if you get the take early, or it can be this process of trying to find this magic fairy that you can just never find. So we spent some good time. We got into a good headspace in that we went up north to where our drummer is from. It was middle of winter in Australia, but up north in Ballingen where we were, it's still great weather. So I think we were more able to find that magic fairy and those good takes and just get in a nice headspace because the weather was so good.
Oh, yeah.
We spent 2 weeks up there just recording those songs live in one room, and then we just did some overdubs after that. So yeah, it was a fun process. I can hear where we were in that album. I don't know if other people can, but I can certainly. It feels like it's from there.
That's nice, because when you look back on that record, it's quite nice nostalgia for you as in the years to come. Yeah. And I thought there was a few punk sensibilities on a couple of your tracks, like Talking Straight, and my favourite is Exclusive Grave. Was that anything that, are you quite into punk? Is that kind of something you like to infuse into your music? Because I found those tracks had a little bit of a cheeky tinge in there.
Yeah, I mean, they're some of our favourite bands, The Clash. I can feel a lot of The Clash in that song, Exclusive Grave.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we're like, punk is quite a strong word, and I think a lot of people would say that we're not punk. But the ethos that we have is just sort of it's always been just sort of a DIY band. We're not the most proficient players, but we've just try and just will these songs forward with just ambition. And that's what I like about The Clash, is that they just pushed and pushed and pushed, and they weren't the most proficient guitarists, players, although drummer Topper Heaton was.
Yeah.
But Simonon, Jones, and Strummer, it was all just sheer force of will, and they would just pull out these, hook after hook and song idea after song idea. And so we've taken a lot of inspiration from that, and it's probably shows through a few of the songs.
Absolutely, yeah, and everyone loves a bit of that. I think it's nice to have that bit of feist in there as well, but kind of in a soft touch. I think that's really nice.
Punks.
Yeah,
that's sort of our jam.
The ethos. Yeah. But you've been signed to Sub Pop as well very recently. That's got Beach House and bands like Fleet Foxes on there. So do you feel quite at home on that label? Because I can imagine it's such a great place to be signed.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we feel at home there. Certainly happy to be invited to that home. It's really nice. It's starting to feel a little bit more real than it did at the start. It's just great to be amongst that company. So, but I know from day one we were like, not wanting to think, oh great, this is it. It's like, okay, shit. Yeah. Let's do a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think aesthetically, I really like your videos. I think they're lovely, like Sisters Jeans and Talking Straight was really cool the way they're filmed. Did you kind of have input into how you want all your videos to look? So they all look very retro, very kind of vintage, and it just works with the song so well.
Yeah. No, to be honest, the videos, when we started off, the videos we were just DIY, and we would just cut together things that we would find on the internet, which is probably not the right thing to do, but we didn't, excuse me, again, that jet lag and
the cheese board. The fumes.
We would just, we didn't think anybody was really going to watch them anyway, so it didn't really matter, but so we would just grab bits of YouTube clips that just sort of felt like they suited the song and the aesthetic of the song. But you can't really do that going forward, if you're putting it out to a wider audience. So yeah, we've had all sorts of different people be involved, and I really don't know. It's really been sort of just ad hoc to date.
Yeah. It looks fabulous. I love watching them. I really enjoy it. It's like watching a little film. It's great. Yeah, I love it. I dig it. And I read on Rolling Stone with an interview that one of you snapped a string while you were playing in Rough Trade in Brooklyn, which is a shame. Has anything else happened while you've been on tour and you crazy mishaps where you've been like, oh no?
One time we were playing at End of the Road Festival in Dorset. And I had this thing where I broke a string, which happens a lot of shows to one of us. But we all now just have a backup guitar so that you just don't have to just worry about running off stage and trying to change a string. So I did that. I just got the backup guitar and I plugged that in, and then next song I broke a string on that. No! So okay, we had a few songs to go. So there was a bit in a song where I wasn't strictly needed, vocally or anything. So I ran off the stage and started changing a string. And I thought, oh, I'm nailing it. This is going to work. I had it just about ready, and I was just going to come on. And I just tightened it just one twist too much, and then it just went thwack. No. And I was like, I was back to square one. And then I realised that I could probably get away with playing the other guitar without that string. So anyway, got away with it.
You've got to style it out, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I just flung it over my shoulder and just started. Yeah. I mean, that's as bad as it's gotten, breaking a string on both guitars. Oh, actually, no, we did have this one in Ireland when we were playing at Wayland's pub in Dublin. Joe Russo, the bassist, broke a string, which is way more annoying because he doesn't have a backup bass for one, and also just changing a bass string is annoying. And not having a bass play in the song is way more noticeable than not having a guitar. So the gig sort of stopped, and we just sort of killed time for a few minutes while that got sorted out. But we all have some Irish heritage, and we'd been talking about it that day. So I went through and introduced the band and all of the areas all the counties that they were from, and the Irish crowd went nuts for that.
Yes.
So it was all right.
So you've got your backups. You know how to deal with it. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll go tonight talking about Irish heritage, but
see on the Welsh take it
up the sleeve if needs be.
And you've got 2 brothers in the band and some cousins in the band as well. So it's like family ties in there. So how does that go down?
It's all right. It's fine. Tom and Joe Russo are brothers, and they're not Gallagher-ish or anything. They're just really placid, nice guys. And Joe White and I are cousins. And yeah, it's fine. We're probably a little bit more fiery than the Russos, but even then it's okay. It's fine.
Part of the course.
Yeah. Well, and we've all just sort of been friends for a while, so it's good when you know each other so well. You just know when to shut up and that. Yeah. It just sort of works fine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Fran, thank you so much for chatting to me today. I'm really excited to catch your set, and everyone at Soon is buzzing, so it's going to be really, really good.
Great.
Thank you very much.
No worries.